This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on!
Game on!
We are back with another episode of the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast on Halloween, episode 66. Kind of fits. We've got Mitch the Cowboy, Mitch Drink Your Face Off, and Shark Mitch tonight for the Halloween episode. We're having a great time playing with Zoom, so AKA Paul and Wade, of course. Technology is wonderful. Gentlemen, how's your Halloween so far?
Good.
Just starting out here, we had our first trick-or-treater, a little buddy from across the street, and Monica's in charge of it for however long this recording takes. So far, so good. Yes.
And the question is, before we get too far into things, what are you handing out?
Sharks tickets. No. Well, actually,
but the kids will give them back.
We do have an extra pair of tickets for tonight, so if you're the first one to contact us during the game, you can have the tickets. But we are actually giving away the German gummy bears, Habro or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, Haribo. Haribo. Those are one of my favorite gummy bears.
Oh yeah, they're. As a matter of fact, a big thanks to Niels from Germany. He just sent Monica a package, a number of packages of the vampire gummies, which are only not available in the U.S. So our German friend sends us care packages of them, and they're absolutely wonderful. So Monica's on cloud nine with that. Thank you, Niels. And the other thing we are giving away are Reese's peanut butter cups.
You know what? Again, top-notch candy right there. Good, very good stuff. Again, as we mention and make fun of Mitch, the official sponsor of Drink Your Face Off. So you need the puck openers, shirts. I know he's working on sweatshirts, all that. Please reach out to him. Also, because I'm playing in the Pucks for Autism game this Saturday, if you go to the Dirty Laundry Facebook page, scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the link for donating. If anybody donates between now and Saturday at noon, send me a screenshot that you donated any amount. I have a couple pucks that he had donated to us to give away for things like that. If you donate, I will send you one of the Drink Your Face Off pucks. So thanks to Mitch for giving me some of those. We took care of some at the expo, but I did have a couple left. So if anybody donates any amount to the My Skate Pucks for Autism, when you go in the link, it'll take you right to my thing. Shoot
I have a couple
message.
too.
Or a screenshot, and then I'll get your address and send you the puck. We've got some expos coming up, Cal Paul.
Before we get to the expos, though, how close are you to your goal?
I've actually gone over it. I'd like to hit 500, and I'm currently at, of course, I should have had that pulled up, and I didn't. I think I'm at 375, if I remember correctly. But I'd like to hit 500 by Saturday.
Okay.
Nice.
Hopefully we can do that with everyone who get a few more people to chip in, and let's hit that.
Yeah, if you've got $5, I mean, you can donate any amount through the thing. There's not a certain level, but it's an awesome skate. I'm actually playing goalie. We solidified all the roster stuff, things like that. Funny side story. Yes, 375 is what I've currently raised. Got a email from our organizer that sets up all the different Pucks for Autism thing, and the company that did our jerseys, which does awesome designs. They did a heritage one year. It looks like the Blues jersey, but with the PFA logo, and then did a 90s one. The jerseys for this year were lost in the mail. So originally we were going to just bring whites and darks. The company that made them felt awful and had put together practice jerseys. They won't be as sharp looking, but they'll at least have that logo on. So we will have actual look all organized with practice jerseys, but they did ship it. Again, not knocking the company, not their fault, but they did ship it USPS. So always be wary of that, because USPS seems to take forever.
Sorry to hear that.
So we will still get them eventually. They will just won't be game used anymore. So all right, we got some expos.
So this Saturday, there's one in Hershey, in I guess technically Grantville, Pennsylvania. So hopefully, if you're in the area, you can make that. Then we actually, I believe there's two expos the following weekend. Friday and Saturday. I hope it's still on. I haven't seen anything lately on it, but it's the show in Denver, the Rocky Mountain Expo, uh, which I know they had one a year or two ago. And Wade will appreciate this. Or I'm sorry, Mitch will appreciate this. It's the Friday night is Denver versus Lindenwood.
Nice. Go
Hockey,
Lions.
yeah, NCAA match. And then Saturday's the big show in Detroit, which is always a good show. Wish I could make it out to that. Couple further down the road, wanted to talk about real quick. February 1st, we still have our show in San Jose. We've been actively selling tables now, so we'd like to get more people coming in. We have some out-of-towners coming in, and we'll also have one or two Barracuda games, one Friday night, one Saturday, which hopefully we can get people to go to. March 1st is the big Southern Cal show, and Michael has announced he has sold out of all tables.
Wow.
So this went from an expo not knowing if we can get enough people to commit to actually sold out, I think 25 tables, which is just absolutely wonderful. Great job, Michael. And we have our Frozen 4 event, which we're going to start pushing heavily, April 12th in St. Louis. Like I said, Monica and I are making out there. Mr. Mitch said he's going to make it too. And we're trying to get a lot of out-of-towners for that. Should be a great time. And the last one I want to mention, I know it's a ways off. It's end of August, but it's in Dusseldorf, Germany. And I know it takes a little bit of planning to get your, tickets for Germany, flying over there. If you don't have a passport, start working on that yet. Start working on that now. My bad. And it's that show it's amazing. The last couple I've been to there, you just can't put into words how wonderful that show is. And it's always nice to visit Germany, as with most of Europe. So that's and then we I don't have it on the list right now, but we have the Nova Expo coming up, and according to Francis, tables are sold out for that also.
Yep.
And I think that's it. If you're thinking of hosting an expo, you need help, contact us. We're always happy to help. If you have an expo coming up and you're not on the list, please let us know and we'll start plugging it for you.
Yes, we want to share those. Even like I said, no matter the size, if it's 10 guys going to get together at a bar or a back room somewhere, share it, because then you might end up with 50 people there and not 10. I did forget to plug my drink this evening. Still haven't had a chance to make my simple syrup. So straight drinking still. Little Maker's Mark 101. I love Maker's Mark's one of my favorite bourbons. I actually have my name with some other people on a barrel at their distillery that when it's ready, I'll get to buy some bottles. So it is one of my favorites. I'm not that it matters any, a Maker's Mark ambassador. I signed up for their program years ago. I even have a little fancy card in my wallet, all kinds of stuff. But Maker's Mark, one of my favorites. So yeah, a little Maker's Mark 101 on Halloween. I didn't have any like scary related bourbon. I know they put out some like horror themed bourbons at some time, but I don't have any of that. So this was the closest thing I come up with, and it's good. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
On to, and in Mitch Cow's area, he's having milk this evening, and
Absolutely correct.
Cowboy Mitch having the Dr. Pepper.
That's on the ticket.
Yes. We'll get to auctions here in a second, but I do want to not plug, but let people know if you're looking for, call it rando jerseys, replicas, Mitchell and Ness jerseys, things like that. If you have a TJ Maxx or Marshalls in your area, and I know these aren't gamers, but some people like to pick these up to wear around or to skate in or whatever. Marshalls and TJ Maxx are getting ass tons of Adidas and Mitchell and Ness jerseys. I've seen all kinds of different teams, a lot of them lettered. So if you're out there looking, the prices are anywhere from $20 to $80, depending on what type they are. I think the Mitchell and Ness ones have been a little bit more expensive, but when those were a hell of a lot more money to buy before getting dumped at these discount places, if you're looking for and the teams are random. I mean, if you some people were posting, I saw some pictures from Florida. They were LA Kings ones. So your store in your area is not guaranteed to get teams that are around you. But I know a lot of the authentic and those kind of hockey jersey groups, people are loving finding these, and people go out and look, and some are picking them up and offering them up at the prices they paid. So if you want non-related gamer news, I did want to put that out there just because they seem to be everywhere. So if you do have Marshalls or TJ Maxx, check that out. I do know even in St. Louis, Wade, Creve Coeur, somebody found some Tarasenko ones that
Nice.
were they're authentic, quote unquote. Onto auctions. The NHL has a couple things out here. The upcoming 2024 Legends Classic game. The auction actually started tonight. The game is going to be Sunday, November 10th at Scotia Arena in Toronto. They have all the jerseys pre-listed up there. Tony Amani, Martin Biron, Peter Bondra, Jeff Carter, Pavel Datsuk, Shane Doan. All these guys are playing in the game, so they have their jerseys out on NHL auctions now. Starting bids $150. They close on November the 12th.
So this is with the Hall of Fame induction, right?
Correct.
And
yes.
weekend. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, the Legends Classic for the Hall of Fame. I should have been clear on that. But the whites and darks are really, really sharp looking jerseys. There's Jeremy Roenick. You've got some of the female skaters as well. Angela Ruggiero's in here. So you've Wayne Simmons, Paul Stasny, Wade, Pierre Turgeon. For we know who likes that one. Eric Lindros. Yeah. So there's a lot of good ones. Some of them have bids already. Like I said, it just opened today at noon Eastern time and goes until November 12th Eastern time. Migrate auctions, they have just a few going on. They have the goalie shutout auction, which actually ended tonight. So of this recording being 10/31, you have the 2024 East Coast Hockey League Captains Club auctions. Those closed November the 7th, and closing November 21st, Seattle Kraken equipment auction, gloves, sticks, and helmets. A mix of Amazon sponsored ones and the Climate Pledge sponsored helmets. Decent pricing. Not many things have bids on them, but they do have 21 days to go. Heritage auctions. They've got some fun stuff coming soon. And Wade, you better hold on to your wallet, sir.
Oh, no.
This one, I don't think you'll be bidding on. I mean, you never know, but there'll be some other ones in this list here I about fell out of the chair on. First, starting off, 1991 Wayne Gretzky game-worn and signed Kings jersey.
Wow.
With exceptional provenance. I'm trying to see the...
It's probably going to be out of my price range.
That one will be.
We're going to have to get a few more views on the podcast.
Right, for sure. White Mesh Gamer exhibits fine gameware with a season that saw the great one add to his legend. 9th of a record 10 Art Ross trophies, double CCM logos and away, stitched 99, Velcro swatch, all that letter of provenance from King's head trainer, and also a letter of provenance from Jim Fox, and an LOA from Migray. So that opens in, what day is that on? That is coming up mid-November. It doesn't have the start date on here right now. I apologize. I thought I had that. Starts November the 14th. So that one's got a little bit for it open, so people can start saving money now. You also have a 1997 Mario Lemieux Eastern Conference quarterfinal game 2 Pittsburgh Penguin jersey with the captaincy. LOA from Mark Jateau. Also from Casey from Penguins Chronicles. Both LOAs on there. Let's see. Here's where Wade starts hanging on to his wallet. 1969-1970 Barclay Plager game-worn St. Louis Blues jersey.
Really?
Even has what appears to be a nice blood stain right above the blue note. That also starts all these start November the 14th, and the auction ends December the 5th. So that is a great one. You've got 73.
Christmas presents.
I'm sorry?
Christmas presents.
Yes. 73-75 Terry Ball, Minnesota Fighting Saints, WHA game worn jersey. A 2014-2015 Jonathan Tays practice jersey from the Blackhawks. Again, Wade, glad you're sitting down. 86-87 Bernie Federko game used and signed Blues jersey with the Blues arch style has the A. LOA from GameWornAuctions.net. Fight strap still intact.
Why are you doing this to me?
I know. The numbers, unfortunately, this is the white style one where some of the numbers are peeling.
Wasn't Bernie part of that infamous Adam Oates trade?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I'll have to look that up because I possibly, but my memory in that is not the best.
Yeah, that's still one of the worst trades the Red Wings have ever made, but I digress. So,
but yeah, that one too, and like it's got the number 2 on the left sleeve is intact, but it's peeled off the under red.
I think wasn't that one in their last auction too?
I'll have to look. I don't remember.
I think that was the one we talked about. That was in the last auction.
Possibly.
So, yes,
it was not sold previously.
It was with Tony McKegney to Detroit for Paul McLean and Adam Oates.
Yes. Now, if I remember right, Jacques Demers went to the GM, and because he used to coach at St. Louis, and he was like, he really wanted someone like Bernie Federko.
Yeah.
So instead of making the trade for someone like him, they traded for a very old Bernie. And it's just, I guess it was 88, 89. They made that trade right when the Red Wings were going from a really bad team, to finally turning the corner. And it's a shame they made that trade, but.
Yeah. So it's actually funny. I don't think Bernie will sign. So Bernie wore 42 when he played for you guys in Detroit because 24 available. And it's actually funny. I don't think he'll sign that on cards. So like every time he signs an autograph, typically he adds the 24 on most stuff he signs. But like if he signs that Detroit trading card, he just writes Bernie Federko. He won't write 42 on it.
Wow. Because if I remember right, he was only with Detroit for a year or so.
It wasn't long.
Yeah, it did not work out well. So.
No.
So yeah, some really interesting stuff coming up. I always try to check those different auctions. If I see anything else, I will point it out there. So kind of the big discussion of this evening, for those in the main group that saw it, you put that up what, Wade, the beginning of the week?
Yeah. We've been talking about it since the jerseys released and the Fanatics stuff. And we've been trying to just get our hands on any of them. And so I made a post on the big group just asking people to send me pictures when they went into their team store of different labels. And I just want to start off by thanking everybody who responded. And you and I, Doc, did a bunch of research on the ones that we got our hands on in St. Louis at the Expo, because Nick and the Blues were so nice to bring not only the one that you bought, which was used in the preseason, but also they brought a Dylan Holloway that was issued to him but not worn because he changed jersey sizes. So we got our hands on both a Blues home blue and also a heritage style. And then people have sent me like privately and then in the group sent a bunch of different examples of the tagging. And I know you're going to put that up.
Yep.
So it's very early on to say this, but I'm pretty confident in saying that we have a pretty good idea that, in fact, the game jerseys are different than the retail authentic jerseys that are supposed to be identical in the tagging. From what we can see, the 0355 are the ones
that
the
middle number in this. Yeah. In this group, you've got the top tagging, which is F24.
Yeah, which Paul.
Yeah, all of us have done different research on this stuff.
Yeah, which we've been told that possibly could stand for fall of 24. And then obviously SP is the company that's making them. And then the middle number, the 40424, and there's some that are 0624. There's a lot of those that we think that's like the born on dating for that particular batch of jerseys or what have you. Beyond the sticker tag that they put on those, which they're not, I don't think they're putting them, and we're gonna have to keep checking on this. I don't think they're putting those in the fight strap anymore. They're putting them on that back tag, but we do need to do some more research on all this. It's still very early. But obviously the SP stands for SP Apparel. It looks, and then that bottom number, the 15428, is on all
82.
Of them. Sorry, I'm blind.
Oh, you're good. No, you're good.
But it looks like it is distinguishable that 0355 is the game jerseys and the 080A is the retail jerseys, which is huge for the hobby, because if it reigns true and it ends up being correct, then we don't have to have that same concern that people can take the retail authentics and somehow doctor them up and make them gamers. And maybe that'll keep the exclusivity of the gamers separate from the retail stuff. So like I said, it is early on, but we've all discussed it. You, me and Paul have all agreed that we wanted to try to break that and have people continue to talk to us about it so that we can make that assessment official beyond us. But we also figure that other news outlets beyond just our podcast are going to probably hear this and start jumping on board and either proving us right or somehow determining that we were incorrect.
And if we're wrong, we will gladly admit it. But with what we have so far, we have, say, Wade, as Wade said, the Heritage Blues jersey that Rinkside Reserve brought to show at the Expo has that middle 0355. My Game Worn preseason jersey has the 0355. If other people listening have gotten a hold of or can sweet talk their team to show them one of the actual gamers and look at that tag or shoot a picture of that tag, I'm gonna bet that it's the 0355 also.
Correct. Yeah,
or
and
some version thereof.
Correct. The 080A, we've actually gotten that now with, I think we're at like 5 or 6 teams that we've confirmed that that's what their team stores are selling. We've
actually
also
like seven or 8 now. We got a couple other ones off to the side I didn't put in the picture.
We've also had people reach out that they've gotten practice jerseys from the team, like from their warm-ups. And obviously the players aren't wearing them, but those are being, those are always typically pretty exclusive. And the code on those is 0755. So that it's a different code as well. So it seems like that's the direction it's going. And we wanted to kind of be the first people to break it. So I'm proud of the research that we've all done. And hopefully it helps the hobby.
And if you are going to your team's game, even if you've seen it in this picture, whatever, feel free to snap another one. The other thing I would like to see, and I'll try and Wade, one of us can check Saturday because we're both going to be at the Blues game, is check in the store, because on my game jersey, if you're laying it down, looking at from the back, on the right shoulder, there's a sewn patch, which looks like that's where they would feed the tracking tag that they wear on the ice.
Yeah.
I grabbed from the Minnesota Game Worn page, and again, thank you to the person who posted that out there. They had a picture of the back all laid out. It was one of the authentic blanks. I zoomed in. I could not see that on the jersey. Of course, it is dark material, so it's a little harder, but I could not see that little like sewn rectangle. It's sewn up from the piping up top, comes up a little bit and then over to the neck, but I could not see that on the back of that Wild jersey. So I'm curious if, and again, if anybody else checks that, and we'll check the one at the Blue store, if that's also missing, that will be a telltale sign for gamers versus authentics.
Yeah.
So far that is the only, the one difference we know of is the difference in the code.
Correct.
Which we will end up tracking, because we don't know if that code's going to change when F24 becomes W24 or, F25. We don't know. So we'll have to keep on top of that.
And it's interesting too, Paul. In a couple of the pictures, if you look at the top left and the top right, you can see on the tag the 0624 and on the one on the right 0524, but you can see the price tag style ones above it that are dated 8/22/24 and 7/24/24. So it's like, are they putting those in just before they're going out the door, even though the jersey itself we think was sewn on whatever that date is on the other tag?
Well, my theory is slightly different on that. I'm assuming the 0624 is when that style with that number starts production.
Okay, yeah, that could definitely make sense.
June, who knows what day in June of 2024, and the day either the jersey is actually manufactured or the date the jersey ships from them is the 08/22/24. But if you notice, a lot of these have two tags on them.
Yes.
So one could be when the jerseys, we're just speculating right now.
Those typically the paper tags that they stick on those are typically done as quality control leaving the thing. So that's why they used to hide them in the fight strap, and that was when those were finished and leaving. So we still have a lot of research to do here, but it is so important to the hobby, and it's really important just to make sure that, I mean, for me, I look at it like I really don't want those ones in the store to be identical, because down the road, it just adds to so many more problems for teams that are lazy, that don't do team sets, for like when the Blues in the past have, had issues on getting the team sets put in there, and they've just had luckily they've had the barcode the last couple of years. But
stickers can fall off.
Stickers can fall off. And those, this is something that is more viable, and it's kind of, it's part of the material build of the jersey. So if there is a distinguishable feature, it's huge, and I know I mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast, but I know I mentioned it in conversation that years ago when Majestic did the baseball jerseys, I'm going to get the code wrong, but I think it was 062. That code was the one that were in the ones that came to the team versus the ones in the team store. There was a different code in those. So they were distinguishable at some level. So I'm just hopeful for the hobby that they are distinguishable to save problems, not necessarily even today or tomorrow, but in 10 years when people forget.
And that's why we want to document and archive this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if the numbers change. It will be another step you'll have to do when you're trying to verify if it really is a gamer, especially when it's super late or nowhere.
And we've seen that on the Adidas jerseys. There's born on dates on the Adidas jerseys too, that year date, that 04-24, because we've seen it in the past where those jerseys, especially after they used them for so many years, they obviously had archives and piles of those and extra ones that maybe didn't get cycled in a year and were reused the next year. You can see that in those early on. So it'll be interesting to see if at the start of next season, if the batch of jerseys are, -25s. That'll be a big, it's going to take us some while to figure it out, but it's fun to track it.
And if you're at whatever, because there's a lot of teams we're missing, or even if we get duplicates, we don't care. If you're at a game and can shoot this tag, just send it to any of the three of us. Let us know what team it is, because if we get all teams, that would be awesome to put as a big. The
more we're getting, the better we are at helping everybody.
Yes,
and that's why we said tonight this is a preliminary evaluation, but it's something I'm confident enough, and Doc was confident enough, and Paul was confident enough in actually putting on the airwaves, and on the internet.
And if people think we're off base or think we've missed something, feel free to message us, reach out, comment on the video or the audio. Again, we're taking an educated guess, because we put a lot of things together and looked a lot of this. I don't believe we're far off. We could have something slightly wrong, but what's lined up seems to be pretty spot on. We're
not as dumb as we look tonight.
No. I mean, don't have a cow or anything, but yeah, we
Mitch may disagree with that, but
right. He would every show, regardless of what we're talking about. But it is, I will say one thing, because initially Wade, when we first started looking at this the weekend of the Expo, is we thought one of these numbers was like the team identifier.
Yeah, we thought the
Now
F-24
does not
was
seem
going
to be the case.
Yeah, we weren't sure if the F-24 or the 15482 were team identifiers, and we've seen those are universal now. So, like Paul said, if that be the case, if that's fall 24, that would make sense. And then, the 05 or the 15482 is still a mystery, but maybe that denotes something with it being an NHL jersey, or who knows what from Fanatics, or from the factory, but that's been universal across all of them. So again, the more we can get, the better. I love getting messages from people with more information, because this is what I love. I enjoy this part of it.
Yeah, and for a second I had a different thought of what that middle
So,
number was.
Yeah, if you look at the one, like right now, if you look at the picture you have on the screen, it says 08/22/24. That is, from my past experience, that would be the date that like left. That's like a quality control, and that 81 up top is the person who did it. And you can see it on the one on the far right. I can't see the numbers, but it looks like it's 4/7/24. Or 24/7. So like those are typically coded things that are coming out of there that should tell either who did it or what day it left.
The old inspected by, when you'd find them on your like Fruit of the Loom t-shirts.
Yeah. And so those are pretty interesting. So, I mean, it's fun to watch, and thanks for everybody that's chipped in.
Yeah, and like I said, please don't stop. We'd love to have all the teams, just to, and again, if you can get the, because there's been auctions for practice jerseys. I've seen some of the specialty jerseys. Shoot us those as well, because then we can kind of create a spreadsheet or something to see, okay, the practice jerseys seem to be in this number code, the authentics are this, the gamers are that. It'd be neat to have that all in one thing that we can put up on the web, especially for the future, because this stuff being documented.
It's better for the hobby. It's going to help the hobby out immensely, long term.
And I do plan on reaching out with this, and because we've used them as a resource when leaks and early information on these kind of jerseys were first coming out. I will reach out to Aesthetics and share this with them to say, hey, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at this, or I'll share this video on our documentation, because I know they have a lot of people from the authentic side that follow them. And again, we're not going to hoard this stuff, or of course we're sharing it on this podcast, but it's not like it just should be for us. And I want others to know, hey, here's what this stuff looks like for further info. But no, Absolutely. Thank you for putting that post out there, Wade. I saw that earlier this week, and it was smart to do that and use the community, because we got fans everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great work. Greatly appreciated.
I mean, that was one of the big topics. Paul, have you got anything?
No big topics. I mean, first off, congratulations to the Sharks winning 2 games. In October, playing
a winning streak.
2-game winning streak, and they're playing the Blackhawks possibly right now. So could possibly 3 games in October, which would be a shock.
If they win on Halloween, it's scary.
Yes. So if you watch any Sharks games, well, we're sorry, and but if you've seen the away games, you might notice by the fight strap, there's actually 2 tags you can see through the jersey, through the white jersey. They're also there on the home jersey, but it's not as easy to see through the teal or the black. And I've actually checked in with the Sharks. Those are, one of them's a set tag, which they normally put in every year or every set, identifying the player and the dates it was worn, or not the dates it was worn, the dates when it was issued and then finished. Doesn't mean it was worn during that whole time in there, and it's not always correct outtimes. And the other tag contains a barcode that the Sharks are hopefully scanning every game to identify when that jersey is being used.
Wait, I wonder if it's the same company, and you'll have to forgive me because I don't remember the name, and I can't remember if we talked about it on the podcast or off, but the there's a whatever company that the Blues are using was scanning those barcodes. It's
Yeah.
sports related, so I wonder if it's the same company, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the Penguins were doing that for a while. Hoping they still are. But hopefully once we get one of those jerseys in someone's hands, we'll be able to get more details on it. But I just thought that anyone watching the Sharks away games, it's really obvious the two set tags back there. It's really easy to see. So,
But a good catch. I can't remember who posted those pictures, but it was interesting to see it right through the material.
Yeah, I think that might have been Mike who posted that. Could be wrong. Mike the Stripper, which we've talked about him before, so
yes.
We got to get on the show one of these days.
Oh, for sure. Cowboy Mitch, what have you got tonight? Anything else? I mean, you great coverage and great research and putting in that work.
I mean, hockey season's off to a great start. The Blues have been shit in the bed the last couple of days, which makes me pretty unhappy. I've been excited to see a lot of stuff going on around the hobby. It just seems like people are reinvigorated again, which is great. While we're taping this, the Blues did have an auction closed with a lot of preseason jerseys and some prospects and stuff like that. So that was kind of fun. Prices were interesting. We can review that again next week. The one thing I thought was funny was I did notice whenever they first dropped that auction, there was a Snuggeroo jersey in there, and then within like an hour or two, it was gone. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I have to find out. I forgot that.
I don't know if there was I couldn't remember if there was a Dvorsky in there too. I can't remember, but I'm definitely going to ask about that on Saturday when we're at the game. Looking forward to trying to get there early enough to see you play, and maybe you'll hand me a sticker over the board or something.
See if I can stop pucks since I'm in that.
Yeah, man. Good for you for the cause. I think that's fantastic. But no, I mean, one thing I did check, the Brian Sutter jersey from that same 2-year period sold recently in classic auctions. So that's the difference. Then the Bernie is obviously in Heritage. So different jerseys, but I was just trying to check my own brain out on that.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those Arch Blues come up.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I'm Heritage typically doesn't do as good with hockey stuff as classic. So it'll be interesting to see what that does there, especially considering how light the Sutter went for classic. Because, as we discussed, that one went pretty cheap comparatively speaking to what other, jerseys from that era would go for of the same player. So that bark is pretty nice. I can't wait for them to put more pictures up so I can examine that one a little closer. But overall, just thanks for a fun night. I know we're supposed to be taping another episode maybe later this weekend.
Yeah, have a couple guests that come on, Detroit Red Wings fans and collectors. I'm excited to have them on. We'll have to record it on Sunday with some scheduling. We're still planning on doing a show next Thursday. So I don't know if that will get dropped immediately or it may get saved because I will actually be in Florida the week of Thursday, the 21st. So I may actually save it. So there's still episodes every week, but we'll sort all that stuff out and let everybody know. But we got some other cool guests. I had some people reach out to me in the last handful of days. We're trying to lock some dates in.
And I think that's great.
That are also involved in professional hockey that are collectors. So wanted to come on. There's some awesome stuff coming. Again, we appreciate the support and all the fun we're having with this. And you can tell how much fun we're having tonight with changing things up a bit, but you cannot have a show on Halloween and not screw around and have a little extra fun.
Yeah. I was pretty sad. I had a gorilla costume that has vanished from my house. I'm not sure if one of my nieces or my nephew borrowed it, and I can't find it. So that was a little disappointing. So I hope Mitch is a good sport as he always is. And he appreciates our fun. And I'm definitely going to have a glass of chocolate milk after the show because, looking at Paul all night's made me very, very thirsty for some chocolate.
That's some milk and cookies. So gentlemen, I think we've covered anything unless anybody else has anything before we sign off. Hopefully the candy bowl will be empty soon, Paul, but if not, you can definitely have some Reese's peanut butter cups. Yep. Wade's got a little bit left there. I had so many other things to do. I wasn't able to even hand out candy tonight, but our street doesn't get a lot, so that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't get as many as I normally do, and then I shut it down a little earlier for this. But it was I just love giving out the candy to the kids, and just I mean, heck, I wish I could still go trick or treating. It's a lot of fun.
Too bad that you couldn't find the mini cans of Dr. Pepper. You could have handed those out to
next year. So.
Well, again, we're trying to work on that Dr. Pepper sponsor. I'm hoping bring it up every week. Somebody will hear it and get you sign the contract. You can start modeling with Dr. Pepper.
I got the look.
Yes. But gentlemen, thank you for another great show. Again, like, subscribe, put the comments. I try to answer them pretty quickly after they come up on whatever thing. If you're on Apple Podcasts or if you're on Spotify, give it 5 stars. I want to try and get us on some kind of list a little bit higher, and we continue to get more recognition and other people reach out, and it is so awesome. Share it with your friends. If you want to come on, shoot us a message, one of us or through the Dirty Laundry Facebook page. That's how the one guest we're trying to lock the date in did. So please, it makes it more fun. Yes, we can ramble like I am right now, but we'd love to have other guests on and share what they're collecting or what they're doing. Makes it even more fun. But for another episode in the books, gentlemen, we'll see you next time.